Hey guys, now we talk about nerds a lot here at Top 10 Nerd, for obvious reasons. But there's a big question that most people ask themselves at one point. What's the difference between a nerd and a geek? Well, in this video I'll try to explain it. Obviously, what is nerdy and what is geeky is super subjective, so you may disagree with my views on the groups. Now as always with lists like this, I'm not talking about all nerds or all geeks, so there will be exceptions. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, and hopefully I can improve my perspective. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Top 10 Nerd, and here are my top 10 differences between geeks and nerds. Number 10. Geeks are niche. Now this is a general rule that I'll come back to throughout this video. You can be a geek in one subject and otherwise a normal person, but if you're a nerd you generally like all things nerdy, or at least most things nerdy. Whether it's comics, Doctor Who, or even cool sciencey stuff, it's all just great. Nerdism can be seen as a relatively extreme subset of geeks, with broader interests rather than a tight focus on the one subject. In this way, all nerds are geeks, but not all geeks are nerds. While areas of study vary, both groups take their interests seriously and go hard in the paint. A basketball reference while talking about nerds? What? Basically, a nerd is someone who is pretty geeky in a number of areas, and those areas are generally related to nerdy things like comics, fantasy, sci-fi, anime, etc. Number 9. Hipsterism. Now, this is probably one of the biggest differences between the two groups. Geeks are, in general, pretty hipstery, while nerds are pretty darn unhipster at times. Especially nowadays, having an appreciation for a certain topic that isn't popular is ironically pretty popular. It's hard to say if geeks tend to become hipsters or if hipsters tend to become geeks, but the two tend to go somewhat hand in hand. Nerds, on the other hand, tend to be less hip, preferring to do their own thing, enjoying whatever it is they enjoy. And what they enjoy is often nerdy. Number 8. To go along with the hipsters, geeks can be cool, but nerds generally aren't. A geek will often try to use their interests to make themselves look more interesting. Like, hey everybody, look how much I know about techno music, look how cool I am. But we nerds have ascended past the desire to be deemed cool by filthy commenters. Sure, your 10-page essay outlining the scientific principles behind the TARDIS may not get you a lot of dates, but that is inconsequential next to the piles of nerd cred you gain. Number 7. Computer knowledge. While there are members of both groups with very high levels of computer knowledge, nerds tend to be better in this respect. Sure, the geeks at the Apple Store know computers, but did they know that Metropolis is in Delaware? Nope. Again, we're brought back to the single interest versus breadth of knowledge aspect. Nerds tend to be more deeply entrenched in computers, more likely to be high-level programmers than to just spend time dicking around modding Skyrim. In this area, I'm definitely more geeky. I'm still trying to get my head around this whole Twitter thing, let alone actually programming computers. Number 6. How they're seen by society. Now, even though it started out as a derogatory term, the term geek is now more acceptable to people than nerd in general. In some studies, people are nearly twice as likely to be okay with being called geek than being called nerd. But hey, if you're here on Top 10 Nerd, you're ready to embrace it. So join us. It's bliss. Number 5. Stereotypical appearance. Now here's the one where I offend everyone and this video gets downvoted to oblivion. So I'll preface this by saying these are stereotypes. So I know not all geeks are like this, not all nerds are like that, but this is just the way people tend to see these groups. Now, geeks are generally viewed as being somewhat more fashion forward than nerds. While they may love to rock the Batman shirt, their clothes tend to fit a little better and more or less match. Sadly, nerds are seen a bit more negatively by most people, pictured with a tucked in short sleeve white collared shirt with a pocket protector and bad hair, and of course the dorky glasses. It's not that we all look that way, but we get kind of a bad rap. Number 4. Pop culture knowledge. Now, generally geeks have the edge on this one, and it largely goes back to their desire to be cool. Geeks often feel the need to learn things that can make them look good, and pop culture is, by definition, popular. Nerds, on the other hand, are more discerning with what news they follow. Sure, they'll keep on top of tech news and maybe politics, but nerds don't care as much about One Direction or the Biebs or whatever kids are into nowadays. Number 3. Interest in TV and film. Geeks tend to like popular shows and movies and take their interest to the next level. Maybe they can recite every line from Clerks or sing the Anchorman harmonies to Afternoon Delight. But if you say Mornier Toulier, they won't know it to be Elvish, or more specifically Quenya, for Darkness Has Come, unless they're specifically a Lord of the Rings geek. Nerds, on the other hand, tend to go for shows and movies that are well, nerdier. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings. If there's time travel, space exploration, or orcs, there will be a group of nerds salivating over it. Unless it's the Warcraft movie, because even diehard fans have standards. Number 2. Nerds are largely more introverted than geeks. Again, there are nerds that are extroverts and there are geeks who are introverts, but in general, nerds thrive on alone time. Of course, we do still love hanging out with friends, particularly for nerd-related activities. But at the end of the day, nerds generally like to unwind and recharge with some alone time. Who needs friends when you have Nick Valentine? Honestly, some people see being introverted as a bad thing, but it definitely isn't. It may just be because I myself am a huge introvert, but I think the ability to enjoy being alone is so incredibly important. So don't hide your introversion, yell it out to the world! Or at least whisper it softly to yourself. Yeah, that sounds more my style. Number 1. This may be the biggest difference between the two groups. Nerds are generally smarter. I swear I'm not just pandering to you guys for likes. That said, you are all super attractive and should definitely like this video. Nerds tend to have more interest in intellectual pursuits like science and math, while geeks tend to prefer sticking to their area of expertise, with less care of other knowledge. If you look in a high-level science class, chances are it'll be filled with nerds. This is what made me such a nerd when I was a kid. I was that kid who stretched his hand as high as possible every time a question was asked. I did extra work for no reason, I just loved learning. Even though I still consider myself a nerd, 10-year-old Ron puts me to shame. I wish I didn't get lazy with age or I'd be so smart right now. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smack the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to join the Nerd Squad. Are you a geek or a nerd? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, I'm Ron McKenzie LaFergie with Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.